Well, welcome to Hendricks How-Tos. This is an opportunity for us to come together as a community. And if you're watching this on Instagram, you get to practice along and expand your capacity to enjoy the Hendricks practices. So that's what we're really here to do. And so what I'd like to share about today is the concept of presencing the unexpected. So I had an experience this morning where I woke up and just I was sort of still a little groggy, and I decided to check my email because there was a response I was expecting and something I wanted to see. So I look at it, and what I see is check your text. It looked like a kind of an emergency text type thing. And so in that moment, I sort of felt a little bit of that rush of adrenaline. So I'm thinking about it in terms of the types of fear that when the unexpected comes, what happens in your body. And I noticed what happened for me is I had a little freeze. It was sort of like a freeze inward. My breath went in, and then it stopped for a little bit. And then I started getting a little bit in the fear flee of like, what's happening? And I'm on my phone looking at email, and it's harder to see on there, and all this kind of stuff was happening. And yet, funny enough, all of that actually happened in much slower energy than I was just demonstrating. I was definitely exaggerating. Because for one thing, I was still groggy from having just woken up. I was talking about the unexpected, meeting the unexpected with presence. And so as I was going through that, it was more like, oh. So I didn't get caught by the freeze. I came out of the freeze pretty quickly, and I didn't flee too far away from the moment that I was in, which was something was happening. I wasn't sure what. And so I found out from a colleague that Katie Hendricks was not feeling well and had a bout of food poisoning. I think we've all been there. And if you haven't, good for you. And wasn't going to be able to teach a 90-minute class that was happening in about an hour and 10 minutes or something from when I was seeing this email. And so then I see a text, and the request was, could myself and another colleague go ahead and take over and do this class. And so what I'm playing with here is, what tools did I find useful from the Hendricks many vast tools. What did I use to be resourceful in that moment, to be able to say, yes, of course, and to actually be able to enjoy the experience rather than be in a state of fear. And I know that 10 years ago, before I walked in the doors of a Hendricks training for the first time, because I'm at my 10-year anniversary this summer, I would have been floored by something like that. And so what are the tools that I have found that have helped me to be able to be ready for the unexpected? And it's been happening to many of us on a daily basis, the unexpected. It's almost the expected unexpected now. And so I would say that my breath was probably the first tool that I came to. So I'm going to invite you right now to let your belly relax and take 3 connected breaths. And let those breaths go all the way down as if you're aiming them to your pelvic area, and the belly will naturally expand. And then let the belly naturally contract as you're breathing out. So 3 times. Nice. And then just tune in with your body right now and notice any changes. Notice anything that's different, maybe the quality of your thoughts. I know mine start to slow down when my breath slows down. Everything, my pace slows down when my breath gets deeper and wider. So that's one of my favorite tools for meeting the unexpected. And my other go-to, so if it's either breath or movement, and maybe they happen simultaneously. You probably saw me doing that. I did a little wiggle while I was breathing. They're very naturally put together for me. And so I think because the freeze response is one of my fear signatures, as we call it. The way that my brain reacts in fear often is a freeze first. And so along with that breath, the wiggle, which is the fear melter for the response of a fear freeze. So we're in a freeze, we tighten, and I'm starting by just wiggling my fingers. And now I'm wiggling my legs back and forth. And then I'm going to let my whole body wiggle. So try that out and notice what that feels like. I notice it's very enlivening, and I love practicing wiggling even when I'm not in a freeze. And like I said, I've created a habit of when I breathe, my body naturally wants to probably, well, I'm not even going to define it. It wants to wiggle. And so I wiggle. And so when the unexpected happens, it comes in, I have a freeze, I do my breath and my wiggling. And then what do? What's the next tool that I pull out of the toolbox? And depending on what it is that needs to happen, if there's an action I need to take. So I suppose the thought that I just had was sorting the two files, sorting the files of what I can control and what I can't control. So if I relate that to the story I was sharing this morning, that I wake up, I find out that I was being asked to help facilitate a class that I wasn't expecting to facilitate, and it's 90 minutes. And so what do I have to sort in that? Okay, so I'm going to sort out that I can't control that it happened. It happened. And I'm going to let that just be the fact. Yep, it happened. And then I look at what's in my control. Well, what's in my control is deciding yes or no. And my design is such that there's no way that no was going to be a response. It's going to be a big time yes. I'm open to opportunities that come my way. So it's not just an opportunity, it's an opportunity to serve, it's an opportunity to grow as a person. So I suppose there's lots that I'll tie into that opportunity. When I heard that word at first, I could tell it wasn't fully resonating for me for a second there. So then I had to find, what did I mean by that? Which is, by the way, another tool. Aligning with my integrity, aligning with what feels right inside of my body. So that's another favorite of mine. So sorting the two files, what can I control? I can respond, let the person know that, yes, I'm willing to do this. I'm happy to do this. And then set up a time to meet and go ahead and move into action. And so that's how I handled the unexpected for myself this morning. And so using the tools of noticing my fear response, so noticing the freeze, meeting it with a fear melter of wiggling, and 3 connected breaths. And it wasn't just 3, I continued to be in my breath as I started to process what was happening. And then finally, the sorting of the 2 files. What is it I can and can't control in this situation? And then it's off taking action. So I think that's a nice little toolkit that you can put together and see how it works for you. It definitely worked for me this morning. So thank you so very much for being willing to come and play in the Hendricks place. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up, and I appreciate anyone who's watching this recording. And much love to everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening until I see you again. Thanks.